Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. I have a lot of plant chores that I need to catch up on, and I figured I would do them with y'all and just chat while I do some chores. Maybe you can do some plant chores with me. Nutmeg looks like he's ready for a nap, and I don't think he's gonna be the most helpful with these kinds of plant chores. He's usually more helpful outside. He really enjoys going outside and being in the vegetable garden, but for this, I think I'm gonna let him go. We'll say hi to him later, and I think I'm gonna do these chores over the span of a few days. So today, I think I'm just going to tackle what I can. I don't have the most energy these days, and so I'm just trying my best, and whatever I can get done today is great. And I think I'm going to start with this Scindapsus behind me. So I have a few things I need to do with these plants since coming back from my trip earlier in June. There's just been a lot of growth and a lot of things I need to catch up on with these plants, and I figured that is a great place to start. For me, instead of looking at this whole room as one big daunting task, dividing it into more manageable things just really helps keep me motivated, and that way I can get things done and feel a lot better about the plant room. It's not at the point it was last year where it was very unmanageable, but there's still some things I need to get done. I'll start with my snake scale here. Like all of them, honestly, on the shelf, it is a little thirsty. It does need a little bit of moss in the pole, and I could probably just put a piece of Velcro around it just to make sure that it's shingling properly. I'll debate that. I haven't put a piece on in a while. I don't know if it's quite rooting into the pole yet. Oh, I see it's trying to. If you can see on the newest section of leaves, way back in there, it's very hard to see, but it is trying. Ah, there you can see it. It's trying to root in there. So it also is trying to grow in the pole. I don't love that. I'm gonna take that out. Ooh. Okay, got it out. That's very nerve-wracking. Unfortunately, a lot of these Scindapsus, if I don't keep up with the moss in the pole, and sometimes even if I do, they try to root in it. And that is a nightmare I don't want to deal with later. So even if I have to slightly damage a leaf, I'd prefer to get it out. But that is out, that is good. That makes me feel better. I do have some moss ready. I already kind of pre-wet the moss so that I could just put it right in the pole. And that will help for the next few leaves. This one's been on a bit of a growth spurt lately, so I want to put in just a little bit extra, not too much, but just a little bit, so that the next leaf or two will be fine. All right, now I have to decide. I might just let it go without the Velcro for now. I feel like this one in particular is doing well enough without it. So I think that'll be okay. I think it'll be fine. If it's not, I can always put Velcro on later. And then the last thing I need to do is give it a really good drink, because it is looking, you can see the wet moss versus the dry. It's looking pretty dry. So just water it top down. Oh, and splash some on myself, of course, because why wouldn't I? Well, I'll probably do a little bit in the bottom just in case. It will drain out into this. There might be a little bit of extra in the bottom, and then I'll check later to see if it needs more. But that is pretty much it for this one. I do wish I could saturate the moss a little bit better in the pole sometimes, but I'm a little worried about overwatering it or spilling more on my lap. So I'll just check it again in a day or two and see if the pole needs more water. I really think of this one, it's time to secure it, if I can, more to the moss pole, because it's starting to just grow out and trying to trail, and it has very tight internodal spacing, which makes this a little difficult, but I would like to do it if at all possible, just for my peace of mind. I really don't want this one to turn into a runner, so we'll see. Ugh. There we go. I think I've left enough space for the new leaf to be growing as well when it finally puts out a new leaf for me. So hopefully that will do well. I think also I've got some room for a little bit more of the moss. Got a couple of clumps, so I'll just fill that in a little bit more. And like the last one, this one is super dry. They all are. So I like to water them top down so that I can get the moss pool as well as extra going down into the plant. Yep, that was probably enough. And this one's done too, super easy. I feel so bad, some of these actually got really thirsty. I'm so sorry. I will try to do better. I feel like it's really tough right now. Like I said, I have no energy at the moment, and I had even less. I actually had to go get iron infusions yesterday because I was just running out of iron in my body, and my hemoglobin was super low, so it was just not a good time overall. It is just a pregnancy symptom that can happen. We tried doing it just with diet alone, but I was eating steak like 3 times a week, tons of leafy greens, and it just didn't do the trick. And then by the time I got my second lab result back, so I got my first one in May, we tried the diet, got the second one in June, and it just was not getting better. So we decided to go the route of the iron infusions because there just is not a lot of time left before I give birth. So, you know, just gotta do what you gotta do. I did feel a lot better after getting the iron infusion, which is great. But the process of realizing that I needed that and that I was super anemic just wasn't fun. I feel like I've had some of the most random medical things happen to me while I've been pregnant, personally, but you know, it's just part of the territory, I guess. And this is my first time actually having a baby, so you just learn. You learn as you go, and I am ready. I'm ready to get this thing out. I'm happy that the baby didn't come out while my iron was so low, though. That would not have been fun, but all better. Nice and secure to the pole, so hopefully this one will recover quickly. I think it will. It's just a little wilted. Otherwise it's fine. Well, I'm very much ready, and you guys might even see this video after I give birth, but I'm just ready for it to be over with and done and move on to the next chapter of my life. And I'm happy that everything went well with getting the infusion. I basically got a call from my doctor yesterday morning with the result, and then I was not having a good day. And I couldn't even make it. I've been still going to the gym and jogging, lifting, doing stretches, and I just couldn't even get out of bed. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna go to the hospital. And they were able to make sure baby was okay, get me the infusion, and that all worked out really nicely. So I'm feeling a lot better after that. Just my mental headspace about it as well. I just feel a bit more prepared, you could say. Plus the nursery is done. You guys would have seen that video. I am loving all of your comments about it and that you guys enjoyed the theme. I'm really proud of everything that I did to make that nursery work. It's just so cute. I think everything really fit in with the theme, and a lot of hard work went into that. Plus we got some really sentimental and gifts, handmade decorations that all made it really cohesive, and it feels like such a loving room, and I love spending time in there so much. It is genuinely just such a happy and exciting time of life. The way I'm starting to prepare myself that I'm gonna be really tired for a while, and my life is gonna be consumed by this little human being that I don't really know what to do with, but I'm gonna learn as I go. Obviously, that's how people have been doing it forever. And speaking of that, I feel like I'm not gonna have quite as much time, at least at first, for twice a week videos on the channel. So I think in July, August maybe, hopefully by September I've got it down. It'll probably just be once a week, and I will still try to get cute shorts out whenever I can, just short little videos about some of the plants and how they're doing, but I am going to prioritize my baby first, obviously, and figuring it all out. But I'm still gonna be here. I'm not gonna go away. I'm just gonna probably slow it down a little bit in the beginning while I figure things out. And my goal is to get back to twice a week uploads. So I'm not going anywhere. It's just gonna be a little bit of a break from this and probably from my Etsy shop too. I think I'm going to change the processing times on the plants, and I don't really have too many new ones to list at the moment. I actually need to start some new propagations soon, so those will be ready in a month or two, but I'll probably change the processing times to be a bit longer. So up until the baby comes, I'm pretty good about getting plants out next day, but I feel like after that, it's gonna be a few more days. So that's gonna be updated as well. Not gonna go away forever because I'm still gonna be propagating plants, obviously, but just gonna be a little different as I adjust to this new phase of my life that I've never done before. I feel like that is a lot of life updates for this video, but there's a lot happening in my life right now. There's a lot of changes, a lot of things that are new, and they're super exciting, and I just can't wait, but wanted to keep y'all in the loop, obviously. This needs more water. Just keep doing it. And I'm really trying to get the plants in a good place so that they can handle a little bit of neglect for the next month or two, because I don't think they will be, there we go, that's enough water. I don't think they will be the #1 priority. Let's just put it that way. So they'll have to kind of wait and deal with a little bit of underwatering, hopefully not too bad. Luckily, my husband does know like how to water everything, and I'm sure he'll give me breaks to go water too. And it'll be nice to be in this room because it's so calming and it's wonderful. But I don't anticipate I'm gonna be on my A game when it comes to taking care of the plants, obviously. This one is unfortunately getting a little leggy on some of the strands, so that is a bummer, but we'll work with it. We will try and see if I can still get it to put out leaves and not fully give me runners. There is one here, a new leaf that is unfurling, and then I see another new leaf developing. I thought there were three plants in here. Oh, the other one isn't even tall enough for the first part of the pole yet, so gotta get all of that moss down in there. Should have gotten a bamboo stick out so I could actually press the moss down, but I think on this one it's doing okay. Yeah, and that's about, just a little bit over where that leaf is. So we are all set to try and make this better. We'll see. The new leaf growing down below actually looks fine. It's just, they're trying to cross paths as they grow up this pole, and I don't want them to do that. I don't want this leaf to stay in its lane and this leaf to stay in its lane. That's all right. I think that looks better. Might have to come in with extra Velcro if it looks like this one's gonna be a runner too, but this way I at least have this attached to the pole and it will hopefully stop trying to be a runner. Once they start running, I feel like they grow faster when they're growing runners, and it's so annoying because I just want them to slow down and stop, but it's fine. I think we'll be okay. We have, like I said, there's 3 plants in here, and if I have to cut one back, I have to cut one back. It's not the end of the world. I think it'll be a nice plant to propagate at some point anyway, so that's totally fine. Oh, I did forget, I gotta water this one too. So we'll give it a good drink. It is not quite as wilty as the tricolor was, but it's starting to wilt a bit. Just a little bit. Okay, good. Got water. Oh. We got water draining out, so that should be fine. I spilled some water on my squishy Pikachu, so I gotta clean him off. Poor little guy. He should be okay though. Luckily he's just foam, I think, so, or rubber, so he'll be fine. Right, it's a new day and there's still lots of plant chores to do. I do want to start by addressing one of the things I mentioned earlier that I wanted to do, and that is to get a sturdier, heavier pot on one of my Scindapsus. That would be the Mangarai. Because it's going to need a pole extension, I'm already feeling it starting to lean with the heaviness of the water from when I watered it the other day. So I have some old candles that we have cleared out the remaining wax and the wick and all of that. So I want to move this from this plastic pot, which I will reuse. I'm sure something like a Hoya would be fine for that. I actually have multiple of these, so I use them throughout the plant room. For one of those candle holders, when I look at candles at Target or wherever I'm shopping, I always look for the potential for them to be a 4-inch, 3-inch planter for my houseplants. It's like a free planter built in with the candle. So I have a couple of those and I'm just gonna pick one out, throw this in there really quick. I think I like the pink. I think the pink works. Obviously it still has the candle sticker on it, but I could turn it around. It is slightly see-through, but I don't think it's see-through enough that it's going to affect how the plant grows, how the roots are. I think it does have a little bit of protection. I think it's enough. I think the colored glass is enough. I think it'll be just fine. And then I'll provide a little bit more weight because I don't think, no, this is not root bound by any means. So while it will need a pole extension, it's not gonna need a new pot anytime soon. So I think this is gonna be just fine as a solution for now. I do also have a repot that I'd like to tackle today, and that is going to be for one of my Hoya purchases from this year that I have yet to put in an upgraded planter. That is my adorable little Hoya Song Wookiee. It has been growing despite me not repotting it yet, but I just think that it's time, and given that I have just freed up a planter, I think this would be a good fit for that plastic gray planter. It might not quite be ready. I haven't seen the roots for a 4-inch pot, but it's what I have. So I think even though it could be a little bit of a big space for a small plant like this, I think it'll grow into it just fine. So I've got the planter, I've got the clear pot, one of my recent purchases from Propagation Diaries, a restock on the 3 and 4-inch pots, which I love. They're some of my favorite pots. They just fit so seamlessly into so many pots out there, so it's great. And I just like to put a little bit, just a little layer of leca at the bottom for the roots to grow into. It provides a little bit of extra drainage in the beginning until the plant starts to get root bound. So I like to do it. It's more of like a safety net thing for me. It feels like a little security blanket for the plant in terms of drainage. And then for the moment of truth, we'll see how rooted this thing really is. I am slightly concerned, but we'll see. Okay, so it's decently rooted, not quite as rooted as it maybe should be to be going into a 4-inch pot, but I think it'll still be okay. I want to remove just a couple of these things so that it fits all these cocoa fibers. Yeah, that should fit quite nicely in there. And I am going to sprinkle in some of my sphagnum moss just because I like to grow Hoyas with a more mossy versus chunky mix until they're bigger. So I'm gonna get some moss and I'll scatter that throughout the pot as I'm layering things. Some people are very against mixing moss with chunky mix or soil or whatever. I don't use soil, so I don't worry about that, but I've never had an issue mixing moss in here. It's just never really been an issue for me. I think it holds a little bit of extra moisture. It doesn't hurt the plant at all. And you just kind of have to be mindful of your style of growing a plant. So if it fits with your style, great. If it doesn't, then do something else. But I think it works just fine. And like I said, it fits better with my style of plant care. I'm not completely changing the medium that this plant is growing in, but I am making it more friendly to my style of plant care so that it will be better set up for success over the long run. Just want to double check that we filled out the pot. There's no big gaps in there. And the tag goes right back in. So this is adorable. This looks so cute. I do think maybe eventually I'll give it a trellis. I don't know, should I now? I could give it a trellis and see. Let's do that also. Let's find a trellis for it. I have a couple of these petite trellises from Propagation Diaries, and I feel like that'll work for a Hoya with smaller leaves. That's about right. And I can always give it a bigger trellis later. So it's not that big of a deal, and I will probably just secure one piece of it for the moment. I don't want to get too close to the active growth, but I might put a little clip down here just for later. Sometimes I like to do that just so I don't have to go digging around for clips when I see a plant needs a little bit more support. So that is the final look. I think I'm gonna put this over by my windowsill so it can hang out with some of my other Hoyas there, just because it's been doing fine without being in a cabinet. If it starts to not do as well, I can always move it to one of the cabinets and see how it does, but it seems to be doing just fine in ambient humidity. It's grown a few sets of leaves, a few new nodes, and I would like it to continue to doing that because I really like how it's looking so far. But that was a cute little repot, and I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'm back. It's been a few days, and I have something to do that I've been talking about doing for a long time, and it's finally going to happen. I'm going to repot all of my philodendron carnival cuttings that I wanted to keep for myself and put it on a pole because it's about time. It has been quite a while. I set these cuttings aside, I feel like months ago now, and I don't really have an excuse not to do it anymore. So I'm gonna do it. I already got a pole ready because it takes me so long to fold it all and get everything situated. So I did that off camera. It does feel tall to me. I don't know why. This feels taller than it should be, but I don't think it is. But that's fine. That's ready. And then I have my cuttings picked out. So I have one that I actually took so long ago that it's huge now. And it's been living in prop boxes for about a year. So there's that. And then I also have 3 little guys like this. Got that one, this one here, and one more. So I don't know how they're all gonna fit in the little 4-inch pot, but that's the size that I have. So I'm gonna try to make them fit. I don't know what else to do. That's the size that I have. I don't have anything bigger that's not ridiculously bigger. So, well, maybe, let me see. I have a 6-inch pot, but that feels way too big. So I don't think I'm gonna use this yet. It's just such a big size difference. So this will probably be the next stage for this plant, but it's just not gonna get used right now. So I of course started with a little bit of leca at the bottom just because that's my little security blanket. And then I'm going to get all of these out of their prop cups just so I can see what's going on. This one is so root bound and has a lot of rotted roots. So that's really all that's attached to it. It does have some good looking roots now. There's just some that don't look as good because it's been in a prop box for eternity. So I just want to get them out, take these prop pins out. We won't hopefully need that anymore. And see how much root I'm really working with. This one has one long root, otherwise pretty short. More roots on this specimen, not mad about that. Hopefully I'll be able to cram all 4 of these in there. I'd be very sad if I wasn't able to. And then the last one, also a decent amount of roots, not too bad. And I'm making such a mess already, of course. But now that that's done, I can start to put them in the planter and figure out how I want to get this in there. I don't want it all the way at the bottom, but I also don't want it just flying around. Because if I don't plant it deep enough into the pot, it usually doesn't do the best. So I think that's just how it's gonna have to be, pretty deep in the planter there. I think I want to prioritize this one because it is the larger cutting and I want that to be in front and center. climbing up the moss pole because it's already trying to climb. And the leaves are thankfully not getting smaller after all that neglect, which is great. Oh my gosh, I feel like it could fit in here by itself. Oh, that's a little heartbreaking. Oh, it looks so cute just by itself. I don't think I'm gonna have room for the others, honestly. It just doesn't seem like something that's gonna happen. I think also I need to put some Velcro on this right away so that it doesn't keep flopping over. While I worked on this, the reason why I had to take a few days break from plant chores, which I didn't really want to do, was because over the weekend was Pokemon Go Fest, and that is my favorite event of the year, honestly. And I actually really hate seeing people complain about it because they seem to think that you're entitled to encounter shiny Pokemon, even though when you buy the ticket, it says that you're not. You get boosted shiny odds, but you don't get a guaranteed shiny Pokemon just because you bought the ticket. And people like to complain about the abysmal shiny rates for raids, or if there was a glitch or something. And usually if there's glitches, the game, like the people are very good about doing a bonus event or something for ticket holders. Like they don't try to screw you over. But I had a great time. I found actually a new park in the area. New to me, it's not like an actual new park. And the first day I just wasn't having the best luck at all when it came to raids. I had some pretty good shiny luck. I got 13 shinies the first day, so not gonna complain about that at all. But I just didn't really find people doing raids, so that was a bit of a bummer. And so the second day, it was also so hot. I did most of it from my car because in town here, there's not really an indoor place where you can play a lot. I did go to H-E-B and do some grocery shopping while the event was going on, but other than that, it was mostly in my car. I did take a couple of walks just to get my exercise, but it was so hot outside. I just didn't want to be out there for super long, so I did do a lot of it from the car. But the second day, I found this other park, which was really cute, and there were so many people playing. It was like a train of cars because everyone was so hot, but that was really fun, and I enjoyed the second day quite a lot because I was so pleasantly surprised at how well it was going for me. The luck tides were definitely turning in my favor. So that is what I did with my whole weekend. That was basically the entire weekend, and it was awesome. I had a great time, and I really enjoyed playing. It's the one event I really look forward to every year, other than Halloween, because I am really a dark type Pokemon enjoyer, and Halloween is the best. But in terms of paid events, because this one, the base ticket was $15, it always is, but they have recently started adding other tiers of tickets and whatnot. I don't really go for all of that because I'm not made of money or anything, but it was well worth it. I had a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year. And I got a bunch of shinies I never had before and Pokemon that weren't available in the game before, and it was just awesome. So that is what I did with my whole weekend. I think only 3 are gonna fit in here. That looks really crammed. So I'm sorry to the last one, but you've been banned from the island. It's not gonna be going in here, unfortunately. I have like a random perlite from the bottom of one of the cups. I'm gonna try to sprinkle in. I also need my bamboo stick. I feel like I usually keep a bamboo stick around to squeeze all the moss in. Right now, I'm just trying my best to make it work, make them all fit. I think I'll just have to pour some moss over the top, honestly. And it'll just fill in that way. So that's mostly covered in there, at least enough to my liking. I think it's fine. And then I would like to get some moss in here because it's already climbing. I did not realize how big this one plant had gotten. That's crazy. It's been neglected in one of my forgotten prop boxes for so long. I feel so bad. But I've already got the pre-soaked moss. Is it getting everywhere? Yes, but that's fine. It's just water. I'm not gonna melt from it or anything. So I'll fill it in. Oh my gosh, this is so much taller. I'm gonna be out of moss. This is so much taller than I thought it would be. Well, good thing I'm only doing one repot today because that used all of the soaked moss that I already had. That looks pretty good. I actually don't mind it in this blue candle holder. I think it looks nice in there. So, oh, and there's a little bit that fell out. Just put that in the front. It's gonna take a while for the leaves to all adjust and face forward and whatnot. And then as the other two little cuttings climb that I put on either side, they're going to obviously get attached to the pole, but this is a good start because this was growing in a prop box. There are lots of aerial roots, and I'm hoping with the already pre-soaked moss, it'll just start attaching itself to the pole and we'll get bigger leaves. That is my goal for my Heartly philodendrons that are climbing. I really want to see big, beautiful leaves on them. I just don't see it a ton. Most people leave these to trail, and I'm really curious as to what it'll look like. So that is done. And then unfortunately, this poor little guy that I just ripped out, I will have to put him back. So I'll situate him back in there. I might give him a little prop pin just to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for disturbing you. I think he'll be okay. He'll go back in a prop box. It's a shame I couldn't keep him too, but I didn't have room, and 3 is probably enough. 3 cuttings turned into 1 plant is probably plenty. So he's back in his little cup. He doesn't look too disturbed, and I'll just give him a little drink before I put him back in a prop box. And that is going to be it for today, but I am so glad I finally got this done after probably a year of having this vision in mind. Another thing I like to periodically do, just as a plant chore, is get rid of all of the dead leaves. I have a few that just happen as part of growing plants. So I will collect a bunch of these. And it looks like I even have some dead Hoya blooms that I might be able to collect. Things like that. And maybe even cut off some dead branches. Just collect all of these, throw them in the trash. Go from there, just so that it spruces up the collection a little bit, makes it look a little nicer. It looks like that was just a one-off dead leaf down there. Don't see anything too much here. There's a couple. There's just one there. This one is dying, but it's not dead yet. So I'll probably wait to take that. And then I've got a couple up here probably. There we go. So it just makes things look a little cleaner, a little nicer, and just spruces up the plant room and the cabinets a little bit. So the last plant chore that I really want to focus on getting done at the moment is fertilizing. I have a few different fertilizers that I like to use. So my favorite is the Osmocote slow release fertilizer because it lasts for up to 6 months. And for someone that doesn't have the time to be fertilizing with every watering, this is really great. Another one I have is this Miracle Grow Orchid Plant Food Mist. So this is a foliar spray. I also really like the Orchid Plant Stakes for Hoyas. I am out of them currently. I searched for them and they're a little bit more expensive because they come in really small packs. So I don't have them at this time. I did see a couple remnants of them in a couple of my Hoyas. So I probably should take a trip to Lowe's and get some more. But for now I have this. And then I also have this Urban Gardener Super Growth Elixir, also a foliar spray, also really great for Hoyas specifically. So I'll probably be using this on the Hoyas today and this on pretty much any plant that I think needs it. If you see little beads on the top of the substrate of my plants, it's this. I also use this on my Hoyas that are outside and my hibiscus hybrid that is outside too. What I like to do to make things easier is just pour a bunch, because I do have a lot of smaller plants. They don't need quite as much as the bigger ones. The bigger ones, I'll just pour this straight onto the pot. But I like to pour a bunch into the lid, and then I just grab little handfuls if I need it. And I think that makes things a little easier. So I have the lid full. Some of my recently repotted Scindapsus don't have any in them, or they just have a little bit. I see like one might have been from some leftover moss or something. So I'll just run these along. And there's exact measurements on the back that you can use, but when you're looking at those, it's talking about plants that are much bigger than little 4-inch pots. So I just like to sprinkle a little bit until I get a nice layer on the pot. You can see them right there. And then just water them in over time. Like it says, lasts for up to 6 months. Sometimes you'll see the beads on there for longer, but they should usually disintegrate by then. This one has some in it, but I feel like there's no harm in adding a little more. Because this is slow release fertilizer, it's really hard to burn your plants with it or give them sort of an overdose of it. So if I see that there's a little bit of room for some, I just add a little bit more. It's not harmful at all. For the Hoyas, I'll use my Svetlana as an example. It just put out this beautiful new leaf that is hardening off. I do see a little bit of the slow release fertilizer there. I'll probably add a tiny bit more. And then I'll also use the Urban Gardener foliar spray on this as well. Just right on the leaves. And I'll probably go in and do just like blanket over a lot of my Hoyas, just spraying them because it's easier than doing one at a time. But I wanted to show y'all, just spray it right on the leaves, and this works really well. Whenever I remember to use it, I'm pretty bad about fertilizers that aren't slow release. That's why I like the Miracle Grow sticks. They last for 2 months, and the Osmocote lasts for 6. But whenever I remember to use this, it usually leads to an explosion of growth with my Hoyas. So I'm trying to be better about it, but sometimes I just can't keep up. So we're pretty much caught up on plant chores at this point. The only major thing I need to do is water, but I have been doing that. I like to tackle sections at a time of the plant room. It just makes it more manageable for me and less overwhelming, especially when I have a lot of plants. I also, especially for some of my bigger plants, I actually like to just leave the sink dripping in one of my bathrooms and just water them that way. It's like a nice slow water, and it really works as a deep water. They soak it all up, and then I put them back in here after a few hours, and it seems to work really well. So for the 6-inch and larger plants, I typically do that, and it just kind of is a constant rotation of plants being watered that way. But it works, and the plants seem really happy with it, and it because it's such a deep water, because it's over the course of several hours, it really sticks for a week or even 2. So that has been a really nice way to water some of them. And then some of the smaller ones, I just go through periodically, take each cabinet as a section, the Hoya shelves, the rack up front, everything like that. Nutmeg is quite literally falling asleep in my hand. I feel like he's gonna fall over, but it's so, so cute. Oh my goodness. You're just the sweetest boy. Yeah, you're just a sweet boy. Oh. But if you like this video, make sure to give Sleepy Nutmeg and I here a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.